unless we have a bullet that's doing the worm like a WWE wrestler, okay? Bullets fire straight. And this one went straight into the front left lower side of his neck, essentially exploded his artery and did not exit out of the back. But that is where a bullet fragment was found. So map it out for us.
So, Ian, she's saying there's a distinct possibility there was two shooters and other people were reporting that they heard two shots. Candace Owens has a new theory.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
It's not just one shooter, she says. Let's listen.
The wiser, right? No one else is telling us anything or showing us anything. And I think they were going to say, or the other option, like it completely took his neck out. We wouldn't have been any wiser. But then I watched it, and the thing that jumped out at me was that not only did the bullet not pierce through, that there wasn't a single dot of blood on Charlie's bleach white shirt until he falls out of frame and onto the ground. I think we accidentally ruined what they were going to try to do to frame this. I think they wanted this to be 30-6 narrative. And now they're going to have a lot of difficulty getting that through a courtroom. They panicked, tried to explain it away. They're saying that it's a miracle. I don't think it is. It obviously was not a miracle. I think it is likely that what we should be looking for are two people that had weapons that day. Somebody that was in the audience, somebody that was elsewhere with a rifle. That explains also why, by the way, when I take a look, there's so many adults. There's no UVU kids that were in the mainstream media. Cooper's not even a UVU kid. He's not a TPUS kid. Why were they not able to find UVU students to say what it is that they heard and what they saw that day? And what's really interesting is I told you guys already about Nick, who has been assisting me on the ground. And one of the first things he said to me was that I felt like they were coming around, the feds were coming around, and they were trying to implant memories into our heads. So he was like, I felt like there were these people walking around that we didn't recognize, and they were like, you heard one shot, we heard one shot, we heard one shot. And he's like, I know that sounds weird and conspiratorial, but it seems like they were trying to make us believe that this is what we heard. And it's interesting also because remember, when Phil Lyman gave us his footage and he walks outside of that building, the two now infamous goth girls who are not goth at all and they're just wearing black, they say that they heard two shots. They never made it to Fox News. They never made it to the mainstream media, but they too also said that they heard two shots. Take a listen.
You see where that came from? It was right here, wasn't it?
It was like over here.
Yeah.
Two shots. What can I say, guys? I think it's pretty obvious that our instincts about this have been correct from the very beginning. We probably need to be now looking for a shooter that was in the audience and to the left. I've seen you guys. I saw some guy on Alex Jones that created he created a whole web and explained and did this all on a computer of where the trajectory would have to go. We need you again, ballistic YouTubers, gun people, gun enthusiasts, military men, the people that they're discounting and saying you have no right to get clicks. No, please get clicks. Explain to us what it is that you know in this decentralized intelligent agency, given the information that I am telling you, okay, that it had it. Unless we have a bullet that's doing the worm like a WWE wrestler, okay? Bullets fire straight. And this one went straight into the front left lower side of his neck, essentially exploded his artery and did not exit out of the back. But that is where a bullet fragment was found. So map it out for us.
So, Ian, she's saying there's a distinct possibility there was two shooters and other people were reporting that they heard two shots. Of course, none of those people who say that have been interviewed on any of the corporate news or any news. So take it where you will.
There is one exception to that rule that she's done such a great job of pulling literally everything that happened and sourcing all the data. And there was one guy that just happened to be there, and he's already was a Fox News contributor, and he was a former Utah politician or something, so he had the chops to get on to mainstream media. And he witnessed it, and he did a number of hits with Fox right early on before they kind of shut him down, I think. And she played some of his clips on the show where he was saying, and he was actually pushing back against the Losi Center theory, the mainstream narrative, and saying that he thought it was probably from much closer. I don't think he was saying two shots, but he was saying he thought it was from much closer. But there's a lot to unpack about this clip. And actually, shameless plug, I'm going to be going live on my channel after we're done here talking tonight on YouTube to try to unpack a lot of this and other stuff around the Charlie Kirk situation, because what she just said is sort of two different things at once. One is the evidence that she saw, and the other is what that evidence implies. But she spoke about it in a way that sort of blended the two together without it being super clear what was stuff that she saw for sure in the report or in the leaks that she's getting, and what is being extrapolated. And what I'm hearing is that the bullet fragment found in his neck shoulder area is from the report, and that's the evidence that she saw. But that means that it for sure was a shot from the front, I think, is extrapolation, because she saw no blood in the video that she saw, and because there's a bullet fragment. I think it's kind of getting pieced together that way. I think there is a possibility that there might be an entrance wound on the back still, because entrance wounds often do not bleed. They're often not visible immediately. They're often very, very small. And there's sort of is a lot of reporting coming out from Stephen Gardner and Brandon Tatum, a lot of sort of the TPUSA aligned folks that are talking about damage to his spine all the way from C2 near the top of his neck all the way down to C7 at the base of his neck. And the angle that the bullet is coming in at from the front, from an elevated position, if it was on the low C center roof, it wouldn't be the C2 vertebrae is way up behind your jaw from the front. And so for damage to happen to the C2 vertebrae, if that reporting is accurate, is not really possible with a shot from the front, at least not expected in the way that we think. And so I'm still kind of holding multiple possibilities in mind, but a shot from the front from a much closer distance with a smaller caliber gun definitely aligns with what we see better. And so I'm really looking forward to what the experts say, because I'm definitely not a ballistics expert, but a lot of great ballistics experts have been unpacking all of the elements of the ballistics, from the crack bang analysis to the visual that we have of the wounds from the videos. And so I'll be really curious to see what they put out over this weekend on the topic.
So you're talking about, if he was shot by the person that the FBI says shot him, and from where he shot him, the angle would be coming like this, and there's no way it could hit the C2 vertebra unless it went through his mouth.
Exactly.
So if it came in here, it wouldn't be able to hit that, just like you said, that vertebra, which is up behind his jaw. And so that does, so it really, it lends itself more to the idea that there was another shooter with a lower caliber bullet and shot him from the crowd.
And it also gets into another part of what's so fishy about all of this, what's got so many conspiracy theories flying around, is that the first thing you do in a murder by gunshot is you get the bullet, because the bullet is what matches the crime to the gun.
Right.
And the gun is a very specific rifle. It's almost suspicious how specific this rifle is. It is a family heirloom, antique, one-of-a-kind rifle that we know for sure is owned by Tyler Robinson, because he was the shooter, damn it. And so without the bullet to link it to the gun, there's not that is, and I was literally just talking to a really good friend of mine who's a Boston cop that's done countless homicide investigations. That's the first thing he said, is that you need the bullet to link to the gun. And if there's no exit wound, as Candace describes, comes in from the front, the bullet is still in there somewhere. And ostensibly, they should have it. Candace's theory is that the body may have been tampered with before it got to the medical examiner, and they may have extracted the bullet so that it can't be, analyzed in this way. And that's certainly possible. I mean, that, all sorts of shades of JFK in that kind of a theory. But not having the bullet in there is extremely suspicious, no matter how you slice it.
So, great work, Candace. Again,
Absolutely.
Look for a second shooter, and there's no way that bullet came in at that angle and hit his C2 vertebra. There's no way. No. And if it was a 30-06, it would have blown his head clean off.
Yeah.
and there wouldn't have been. It's obvious. October 19th will be in Irvine, California. We'll be in Australia. Then we'll be in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving, and then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.